Hello and welcome. Thank you for taking time to view this video meeting, which is designed so that we can meet more frequently and more efficiently. I want to start by thanking each of you for taking or accepting the call to lead our care line. You are the heart of Zion because you're constantly aware, you're constantly showing care, and you're always there when people are in the greatest need. So many people are blessed through the sermon when they walk through the doors of Zion Church. What they don't realize is that the backbone or the heart is what happens after Sunday. Because while we may touch hearts on Sunday, you're continuing to pour into broken people on Monday. I am excited because whether you know it or not, without your care, people may get the impression that God can talk, but he can't touch. And so your ministry, this ministry, Careline, can truly be a game changer. We want to get to a place where the ministry not only grows in strength, but it grows in numbers and it grows in distinctiveness, effectiveness, that people will walk away and say that the beauty mark of Zion is not only great preaching by our pastor, but the beauty mark of Zion is great care by its community. So listen to Christ as he shares the power and importance of caring for others. In Matthew chapter 25, verse 40, the King says, "I tell you the truth, when you did it to the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were doing it to me." Wow. So what you do when you care for others, you answer a call, you address an email, you are literally expressing the love of God in a way that's tangible to people who can't see God. So you have your outline. I'm going to be following along this outline, starting with our vision and mission. Every ministry must be committed to Zion's vision process. I call it a vision-driven process because we want to help people meet God, you know the rest, grow closer to him, and serve him. That's really a description of our process. But every process must have a point, a purpose, or a defining moment, or defining mission, should I say. And the mission of the Careline is to help more people meet God by showing more people how much he cares. This mission is quantitative because we want to show the operative phrase is more people. We want to help. Operative phrase is more people. And so the idea is that we want to measure numerical growth. We want growth for Zion overall to be attributed to the level of care that's provided through your ministry. So we'd love to have survey cards that would reflect someone's sentiments that one of the ways they connected with Zion Church was because of the way Zion cares. I mean, that, for me, what a powerful statement that our community cares that much, that people are making decisions about membership because of your service. So it's quantitative, but it's also qualitative because we want to show people. And the idea is that your ministry will always have an ongoing pursuit towards excellence. And this is reflected in three ways. When we talk about qualitative, showing people, what does excellence look like? This looks like the refinement of your processes. In other words, how is your ministry care better today than it was last month? So this should always be an ongoing process of evaluating and then refining. Excellence is also shown in the recruitment and training of team members. This is an area that I want to, across the board for all service teams, I want to see us improve. In other words, our team members consistently watching online care training videos, on a monthly basis. And I'll get into the details of how that works and what that looks like. But for now, we want to make training excuse proof. And so there will be online training videos for all Careline team members to be able to watch and grow in their level of care. So we said excellence is shown through refinement of your processes, recruitment and training of your team members, but is also shown through the rewarding of what I call care excellence. In other words, when you look at your team and you see a speed of service, in other words, they're addressing emails swiftly, which you all do an outstanding job, by the way. You see that people are going the extra mile. It's good. We're praying for people. Some people may need a visit. Some people may need a hospital visit, or some people may need an additional level of support. So when you see the extra mile, that's another level of excellence. And choosing people over processes in order to meet a need. Sometimes when we create a system or a process, it is valuable to stick to it, but sometimes it's priceless when you work outside of it, because not everything, people's lives are not neat. I mean, our life is messy. So what's an example of that? An example of that will be, and this is not for the Careline, I'm using this as an example that's just that you can look at as a reference. Let's say somebody is standing outside in the rain, and our process says we don't let people in until a certain time. To value people over the process would simply say, I know what the process is, but we want to invite the person in because we want them to feel our warmth and to be in an environment that's safe, rather than to have them stay outside to stick to our particular process. All right? So again, three ways that it's qualitative: refinement of your process, recruitment and training of team members, and rewarding excellence in care. All right, 3, let's talk about the function, structure, roles, and expectations. Every service team is structured to have a 3-part leadership team. Every team should have a captain, and the captain is responsible for direction, planning, training, and spiritual oversight. We're not asking you to preach, but we are asking you to be concerned with the spiritual well-being of your team members. In terms of direction, once we sit down and you develop a plan for the year, it's the captain's job to steer the ship, to make sure that the ministry is heading in the direction that has been laid out in advance. The captain is also responsible to make sure that his team members or her team members are being trained consistently. The second role is a coordinator. The coordinator takes on an admin managerial responsibility. The coordinator is over putting people's names in the database, reporting, scheduling, and overseeing our process. The third role is a coach. The coach's function is to build online community, encourage, reward, and correct team members that may not be walking in alignment with our process. Correction may be a strong word, but it is necessary. We can call it teaching. Their job is to come in and provide additional instruction. Let's say somebody may not know how to use a particular online function, or whatever the case may be. The coach is the one that can come in and provide the additional support that's needed. But their main function is community, making sure that your team members are connecting beyond your service area. All right, expectations. And when we talk about expectations, I want to start by sharing a little bit about the philosophy of our service teams and how we want to operate. The philosophy is we want to use online technology, or we want to use technology in general to train so that we can increase consistency and use the in-person experience in order to build community. We only have but so many hours in a day, which is why I'm using this video meeting format. The idea is if we can take care of business outside of our face-to-face time, then we can use our face-to-face time to do what may not be as easy to do with technology, which is get to know each other. So the beautiful thing is we can go out to eat, and it doesn't have to be shared with the responsibility of taking care of business and dealing with the technical side of ministry. So again, that's the overarching philosophy. So now that you have that picture, as I talk about expectations, one of the expectations will be that you will check into our online office. We have an intranet office that will allow us to connect and communicate. We'd love to see you check in to that office at least a couple of times a week, ideally 3 times a week, just so that we can be on the same page. We're asking you to respond to team requests within 24 to 48 hours. That's going to be largely related to people who want to join your ministry. We want the follow-up of those individuals to be very swift and very effective. We want you to be responsible for consistent reporting. We're using a database service called Church Teams. It allows us to have an accurate count of everybody that's in your ministry. And we would love for you to let us know the status of your teams using this particular service. We're expecting you to hold team members accountable for monthly online training. One training will be spiritual in nature. The other will be ministry specific. Again, keeping with our goals, we want to make sure that your team is growing in excellence. We want to hold teams accountable for online community involvement. And so one of the things every team will have is a Facebook page. As much as people may hate it or love it, reality is that many of us don't interact beyond Sunday. We tend to operate in our own silos, and that can create miscommunication, misunderstanding, because it's not enough for us to know the play. We also got to know each other. And so the more that I can figure out what's going on in your world, the better our service experience will be. As a matter of fact, when new people join the team, we want them to be sold on the way that the team operates and the way that you interact with fellow team members. It reminds me of what Jesus says about disciples, that people will know that we are his disciples by how we love one another. All right. So community involvement, there will be community quarterly community team building hangouts. So that may happen with several teams getting together, or it may just happen with your team planning a quarterly hangout. We're expecting you to hold regular team meetings using conference calling or video conferencing. We're expecting a team prayer call. At the beginning of the month, if you can assemble your team to at least get on the line and say, hey, as we enter into the month of October or November or December, let's pray. Because reality of it is some months we get hit with some stuff. We're in a month like that now. What people are dealing with is just heavy. And the power, especially in the prayer line, the power that we can leverage is being able to pray together. So you would just put that on the schedule. At the beginning of every month, all the care line would come together and pray. Conference call. All right. We're asking you, especially your leadership team, to cross-train. Although each of you will have your own distinct roles and responsibilities, each of you should understand how to operate in the other person's seat. This will help us from having burnout. This will allow us to effectively grow our teams and have plenty of room for other people to come alongside you and support in terms of what you all are doing. I want you to use an apprenticeship kind of program. While we do have a 3-person lead team, we should be grooming and training other people at any time to be able to do what you do, because there may be a season when you say, hey, God is calling me to move on. So we want you to be aware and manage your ministry process. We'll talk more about what we'll be using to format what you do. I received some documents from you. What we're going to do is take that documentation. We're going to standardize it in a format that's consistent with all the other teams, so that anybody that's serving within our Zion community can look at this format and be able to see, oh, that's how Caroline operates, but that's also how they affect what we do. Because you all, for example, affect the deacons and you affect the ministers in training. The challenge is ministers in training might not know how you operate, and you may not know how they operate. So we're going to standardize all of our processes and put them into one package, if you will. So we want you to be aware of your process. We talked earlier about refining your process, and this will allow, when your process is being refined and updated, everybody will be notified. We expect you to provide orientation for new team members. Now, some of the things I've listed, you are already doing. The difference is, we're going to hold you accountable for making sure it's done, but not just you. All of our service teams will be responsible and accountable for the things that we are discussing. And then, as I said earlier, but now I'll say in more detail, you'll be responsible for monthly reporting. Monthly report would have something like your numbers. How many people do you have on your team? What's the health of your team? I mean, do you have people who may need a break? Do you have people who are dealing with some things and you need additional support? You'll have someone will connect with you and help you in terms of getting this information, because we want to make sure that your team stays healthy. Also, the report will tell us whether you have new members. The report will tell us whether your team has been involved in training. The report will tell us some testimonies of effectiveness or areas of needed improvement. All right. I'll pause, and I want to go back and just briefly survey expectations. Check your online office. Respond to requests in 24 to 48 hours. Consistent reporting. Accountability for online training for all of your team members. Involvement in online community. A regular conference call meeting. A team prayer call at the beginning of the month. Cross-train that you may understand each other's roles. Manage your process. Orientation for new members. Monthly ministry report. Now, this is what you can expect from leadership. That we would provide the spiritual training material via video or the content you would need. That we would post spiritual and ministry specific material online. You can expect a leadership call that will go out weekly. It will be automated, so you can you'll know that it's coming. It'll be from Zion Church, but it will have just a minute of inspiration or a leadership lesson or something that can just keep on our mind so that we can continue to grow as leaders. You can expect from us a quarterly video training, and this is for service team leaders, not for all of your team members. You can expect from us quarterly fellowship. 4 times a year, we want to get together as leaders to just connect, or once per quarter, and get to know each other. You can expect either an annual or biannual, is either, because I'm not sure at this point, because we haven't finished our ministry planning for 2016. But the idea is that we will have some kind of leadership retreat. All right. Finally, well, I shouldn't say finally, but close to finally. I want to talk about survival tools. There are 3 tools that are going to be indispensable for effectiveness in this model of ministry. One is Bitrix 24. I mentioned earlier about our online office. That's what this is. It's designed to enhance team collaboration and communication. The second big tool is called Church Teams. This will allow every team leader to manage their teams and have reporting. For example, if you're having a training or some kind of event, people can both register and check in using this database. And because all of the names will be in the system, all you have to do is click the date and the event, and you can send out a report and say, this is what was done for the month. And then the third piece is called Solomon Learning Management System. This is for team training and coaching. I'm extremely excited about our approach. The key to success is unity and communication. And the greatest enemy and competition that we face in ministry is actually busy schedules. As you can see how challenging it was, even using this format, to actually get things done, for us to meet consistently, because let's be honest, life is full of unexpected change. Well, using this kind of format almost makes our ministry excuse-proof. Here's reality. The key to learning is consistent practice, not in-person meeting. As much as I would love to be able to sit down and meet face-to-face, because you're coordinating so many schedules, the problem is even the training isn't effective because nobody can learn by simply coming to a session one time and we assume that they have it. If any group can communicate often, stay together, practice consistently, and focus on a common goal, then their ability for achievement is endless. Technology does present challenges. I understand that there are challenges with our learning curve. Sometimes there's glitches with the actual software. Sometimes there's a challenge getting everybody to use it. But the benefit is that it will enable us to navigate around our greatest competition and enemy, which is busy schedules. And I am confident that if we stick to it, we will see unprecedented results in our service community. All right. Let's talk about the next 90 days, or should I say, from now to the end of the year, things that we want to be mindful of and that we would love to accomplish. Number 1, designate roles. Right now, you have 2 key people, a team lead. Now you all have to determine who will cover the second and the third role. So you have a captain. We always start with a captain. Now you have to determine, based on strengths and abilities and responsibilities, whether your second and third team lead would be a coach or a coordinator. We are and have planned a leadership retreat coming up on November the 21st from 9 to 1 p.m. at the Ministry Center, First Baptist Church of Glenarden. What we're doing is we'll send out much of the content through video. You'll be responsible for reviewing that content. It will show you, for example, what our internet online office looks like. It will show you what church teams look like. It will go through some key things to prepare you for our ministry year. All right. So all of this is to get us ready for 2016. All right. So you'll also have the coordinator enter names into our team management system, or our church teams management system. So I'll send you a video to show you exactly what that looks like once you've identified who your coordinator is. If you don't have a coordinator, we can provide assistance through our admin team ministry to help you get that done. We're asking you to set a conference call in which I will introduce you officially as the team leaders. And I would ask for you to identify or interview, and we would assist with this, someone that you believe can fill your third leg or third ministry role. And then lastly, we want you to set a meeting following our leadership retreat to discuss talking points and overall ministry direction. Actually, based on the content that I just gave you, you could really have that meeting with them based on this content, specifically talking about things like the fact that you all will come together and pray, that there will be online training, so you can choose to do that now, or you can wait until after we have the leadership retreat and you receive that content. It probably will be better at that point, because we'll have more things settled, more things in place. The first thing you really want to concentrate on is setting up that conference call and letting them know, hey, this is the new leadership team. And then we can talk about planning the meeting for ministry direction. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for walking through this meeting with me. If you all have questions after watching this, don't hesitate to ask me. I will be attaching, you should already have the notes that go with this as well. All right, thank you, and I look forward to our conference call, which is your very next step.